Turn up the volume nice and loud, cause we are controlling transmission with dance beats and R&B. Dawn Marie. You're in the mix with Lil Drummer Girl with your host, Dawn Marie. In the mix.
Welcome, my drumsters, back to another episode of The Little Drummer Girl.
I'm your host, Dawn Marie Mutel, and today we are going to talk about finishing what we start. I have a question for you guys. How many times have you started a project and then something interrupted you or something was going on in your life and it took you away from that project and you never returned to finish it? Has it ever happened to you? It's happened to me so many times, I can't even begin to tell you. But one of the promises that I made myself when I was in my late 20s into my early 30s was that I was going to finish whatever it was I started. Now, sometimes that's easier said than done because it depends on the size of the project. If you need to buy certain materials for the project, there have been times where I started something and I ran out of funds and I didn't have the money to go and finish buying the materials that I needed to finish a project. It could have been a DIY project that I was doing in my apartment or something like that. But I realized it's so important to stay on track and finish it. Now, it doesn't matter how long it takes to finish it. It's just a matter of finishing it. So my challenge for you guys is to think about one project that was really near and dear to your heart that you might have put on the back burner, but it's been back there so long, you forgot all about it. So I want you to think about it and see if you can bring it back to life, give it some CPR, revive it, and get it going again. Because I feel like if you do and you accomplish it and you finish it, it's going to make you probably feel really good. And that's my point. I want you to do something that's going to spark you. And who knows, it could just lead you on another path to something else. And that could be a good thing, depending on what it is, right? But I feel like there's so many times that we have these goals or dreams or desires that they're in us and we're not getting them out quick enough, or we started and then we get hesitant about finishing it because maybe there's some kind of repercussion that comes with it. Who knows? Maybe once you finish that project, it may change your life forever for the better. Sometimes I know I've had a fear of success. I've had, sabotage myself with things because when I was even in my 30s, I felt like I was almost afraid to become successful because there was going to be more pressure put on me and there's more eyeballs on me and I had to be on at all times and it's a lot of stress. So I think I just kind of took a back seat and didn't really push myself the way I wanted to. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still pushed myself to do a lot of the things that I did do and accomplished, but I feel like I didn't put myself to a certain level because I had a fear. And I'm wondering if part of it had to do with my relationship, because I was in a relationship for 10 years. And I felt like maybe if I, had to travel a lot and I would be leaving him behind and then it would affect our relationship. And then the next thing you know, and when you're in love with somebody, you feel like you're going to try to do everything to make it work. Downsides to it. There was no more positives to it. I still stayed in it, which is really crazy, right? But some of you might know because you might be in the same situation. But let's get back to that one thing. I'm not talking about pulling everything back in. I'm just saying one project or one idea that you had that you really wanted to fly with it and then something happened. I mean, who knows? Maybe somebody talked you out of doing it because they felt like you weren't going to be able to achieve it or whatever the reason was. And then they talked you right out of doing it. Can you think about that one thing? Is there something there that you can just say, you know what? I'm a different person now. I'm older now. I'm wiser now. Now's the time for me to do it. I have more energy, whatever it might be, but you can actually force yourself to do it. And it's a very important thing to do. And I feel that it can just make you feel alive again. And there's nothing worse than feeling dead inside when we have this life that God has given us to live and enjoy to the fullest, right? And have a cup overfloweth. So let's get our cups overflowing. so that we can really feel happy at the end of the day, because isn't that why we're here? It's like we want to be happy, right? That's our main goal. I mean, I think that's why people do drugs. That's why people drink. That's why people, have affairs, because they want to feel ignited. They want to feel like they're doing something and that makes them feel alive. Now, I don't want you to do any of that stuff because it can harm you. Drinking too much is never fun. Partying hard is never fun because it just takes a toll on your body and stuff like that. So I found that simple things can make me happy. Are there simple things in your life that can make you happy? I mean, can you sit there and enjoy a beautiful sunrise or a sunset, or just sit outdoors and in a park and just enjoy nature and just feel glad to be alive because you're in this beautiful surrounding? And it doesn't have to be extravagant. It doesn't have to be something that you spend a lot of money on doing. Sometimes even just going to the gym for me can make me ecstatic because I know I'm doing something good for my body, right? Because usually it's the small things in life that make you the most happy. Do you agree? So think about a couple of things that you can do in your daily routine that might start to spark some things to make you grow into a different direction. Maybe you just start driving a different route to work every day instead of taking the same way every day, because who knows, you may just find a great restaurant or a new place to go visit, or it's just a more peaceful, quiet route than taking the normal route that you take to work every day. And, we take these things for granted because it's like we get on autopilot or something, You drive, you don't even know how you got there. You get to your destination, you feel like, wow, how did I do that? I don't remember driving there, because you were thinking and your body just did what it had to do and it got you to where you needed to go. It's happened to me quite often because I'm thinking about other things, or, my mind may be wandering, or I'm listening to a book on tape and it's just the next thing I know, I'm there. And I'm like, wow, how did I do that? Have you ever done that? So let's think of a couple of things to spark us and to get that fire under us, because you know what? If you don't push yourself, no one else is going to push you. And that, my friends, is the hard, cold fact. It's up to us to make life whatever it is that we want, because we can create the life that we want. And half the times we don't. And why is that? I think there's just a number of reasons, but I think the top reason that comes to my mind is that it's fear-based. And what does fear stand for? False evidence appearing real. And I love that because it makes me realize that fear is just nothing. It's an emotion that we have because we came from the primal mates that, we had tigers and lions and bears after us, right? So we had to have fear and have that, fight or flight response. But in real life, we don't have any bears chasing us unless you're maybe in the mountains in Colorado somewhere. But those things are not happening to us, right? Back to the challenge of finding something that you liked. I mean, maybe it's not a project, but maybe it's just doing an activity. I remember I always wanted to learn how to jet ski. And I had a friend who owned a jet ski, and they took me out on the water with them. And it was just so much fun. It was so invigorating. And once I did it and I said, oh, this was really fun, I knew it would be. It lit me up to do other fun things and other exciting things. That's why I want you to do this one thing, because I feel like when you get a momentum going, first you got to get the ball rolling. And once it starts rolling and it's going down the hill, we need momentum, because with action comes momentum. So the first time you take a step moving in direction, you can keep moving forward and do those things that you really would like to do in your life without thinking oh, I really wanted to do that and I never did it, and now I'm too old, and now it's too late. And remember, you're never too old. It's never too late to live that life that you want to live and love. So what's the one thing that you're going to pull out of the hat and start doing? Tell me in the comments section. I'd love to hear from you to let me know what it is that you decided to do. And did it help you get to the next step of something that you might be working on trying to achieve? Life is really intricate, and there's all these things that get in the way to stop us from doing the things that we love. And I feel like sometimes it's not easy to stay on track when you have a million other things to do, especially when you have a family to take care of. I know how difficult that is. So I know what that caretake is like. And even with my parents, when they were ill, I had to take care of them. So life is very, very difficult, and there's always going to be challenges, and there's always going to be bad things that do happen in life. But think about all the great things that happen in between. And if you think about creating new habits and new happenings and new activities in your life, you will be able to handle all the other crap that happens because you'll feel good knowing that you did some fun stuff and that it's okay that you're going to have some bad, because you got to take the good with the bad, right? I mean, it's like anything else. So that's all I'm going to leave you with today. If you like this episode, please share it. I really appreciate it. And sign up and subscribe on any of the channels that podcasts are at these days. And if you can leave me a review, it would be great. And
remember, it's never too late to live the life of your dreams and leave it trailblazing behind you. So rock on and rock out, and I'll catch you on the flip side.